Hi guys, let's have a discussion on today's set of questions. Here's the first one. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT in short, has not been ratified by 8 nations and cannot enter into force. Identify the 5 nations that have signed but have not ratified it. All 5 listed here have signed but not ratified the agreement. So what's CTBT? Let's discuss the CTBT. In your notebook, please write CTBT. CTBT, and we will start with something very easy, something easy to understand. First point, signed in 1996. Signed in 1996. 1996. Next point, bans, BANS, bans all nuke tests, bans all nuclear tests. Nuke is short for nuclear, NUKE, okay. Bans all nuclear tests, both for civilian and military purposes, both for civilian and military purposes. Next, 184 signatories, 184 signatories, 184 signatories. Today I am not going to use pen and all. Signatories, SIGNATORIES. I repeat, SIGNATORIES, signatories, 184 signatories. Next, non-signatories means countries that have not signed. So these 5 are countries that have signed but haven't ratified, okay. Whereas there are countries which haven't signed at all. There are 3 such countries. 1, India. 2, North Korea. And 3, Pakistan. So India, North Korea and Pakistan, okay. So 3 such countries. Means what this treaty says is that there cannot be nuclear tests, all kinds of nuclear tests, okay, both for civil, military purposes, civil and military purposes. No, you can't have them. That is what the CTBT says. Now there is another treaty like this. That's called the NPT. Okay, leave one line space, right? NPT, whose full form, okay, CTBT is listed here, it's mentioned here. NPT is Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. You could write this, nuclear, it's there on the screen for you. Non-proliferation, I repeat, NON, non, hyphen, proliferation, 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 nuclear non-proliferation treaty. See, proliferate means to spread, increase. To proliferate means to increase, that is spread. Next, underline that, NPT. First one, signed 1968. Signed 1968. Next, prevents spread of nuclear weapons. Prevents spread of nuclear and weapons technology. Nuclear and weapons technology, both nuclear for civil as well as for weapons. Nuclear and weapons technology. Next, promotes peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Promotes peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Next, 190 signatories. 190 signatories. Next, non-parties. non-parties, P-A-R-T-I-E-S. We haven't signed, we are not party to this. Non-parties dash India, Israel, I-S-R-A-E-L, Israel, comma, North Korea, comma, South Sudan, S-U-D-A-N, South Sudan, and Pakistan, So India, Israel, North Korea, South Sudan, and Pakistan. See, the treaty talks about, the NPT talks about, there shouldn't be nuclear bombs. Now, what I did not mention is an important clause which is implicit in this. It says that only 5 countries can have nuclear weapons. What 5 countries? The P5, permanent 5 members of the UN Security Council. Only they can have nuclear weapons. That's what the treaty says. And when we asked, they asked us to sign it, and we said no, because we said, this treaty is discriminatory. How is it that you can have nuclear weapons? P5 can have nuclear weapons, we can't have. And to which they said that we need them for our security. Well, then what about our security? We asked. What about a nuclear China? A nuclear China, would be a bully. It already is a bully. But think about it. India does not have nuclear weapons. How would it treat India? So we refused to sign it. Now we took the moral high ground. We said, okay, you want us to sign, then everyone should give up nuclear weapons. Everyone should give up nuclear weapons. That's what we said. We cannot say that there cannot be an argument that you can have them, but we can't have them. Let's all of us give up nuclear weapons. So we took the moral high ground, but didn't sign it. It is true. See, you know how China works. China is an evil country. For all practical purposes, I'm not being rhetorical, I'm being honest. I'm actually telling you the truth. For ages, about 15-20 years, I've been talking about China, and China is not a country you can trust. Okay? So, Pakistan is not that kind of a danger that China is to India's security, India's territorial integrity. So, we refused to sign it. Now, what about Pakistan's argument? Pakistan says, well, India hasn't signed, so we won't sign. So if India does not sign, we won't sign. India signs it, we will sign it. That's what Pakistan is, always trying to ape us. Unfortunately, their democratic system, their economic system, the kind of political system they have is a pretty bad one. So what are these countries here? Israel, Egypt, United States, China, and Iran. Would you want to know about Egypt? Yeah. So what do we learn about Egypt? You could write Egypt dash Egypt. Let's write. I just planned to use this. I didn't plan to use it, but anyway, write Egypt. Cairo. The capital is Cairo. The capital is Cairo. Okay. The president's name is Abdel Fattah. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. So the currency is pound, Egyptian pound. It's, I think, stuck, so just put it aside rather than discontinue the talk. Okay. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is the president. He was an Egyptian military chief, but he threw out this guy Mohammed Morsi, who belonged to the to a previously banned Muslim outfit called Islamic Brotherhood. That was more or less, it was called Muslim Brotherhood, and it was banned for about 30 years. But then the ban was lifted, it formed a political wing, and then Mohammad Morsi became the president. He tried to Islamize the country, and which wasn't liked by Israel, its neighbor, Jewish neighbor, and of course the Americans. So they all, and the Saudi Arabians, because Mohammad Morsi belonged to the Islamic Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood was bent on, it always had its goal that the monarchy in Saudi Arabia should be replaced with, Shariat, the Muslim Shariat. And the Saudi royal house didn't like it, so they kind of pushed for removal of Mohammad Morsi. So they all ganged up together, threw him out, put him in the jail, and of course the military chief Al-Sisi became the head of the country. So that's Egypt for you. From there, let's go to, I think we've had notes on each of these countries, so we'll not go, we'll not spend more time here. What's the limit of FDI in defense manufacturing through automatic route? See, there are different, before I discuss automatic, okay, let's first discuss FDI, then we'll discuss what's automatic route, what's government route. So FDI, please, let's take the definition. Foreign direct investment, write this, foreign direct investment, underline that. Capital brought in by a foreign company to invest in the domestic economy, either through EITHER, either through a joint venture, or a wholly owned subsidiary, wholly, WHOLLY, wholly owned, OWNED, owned subsidiary, 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 wholly owned subsidiary. Next, government route dash FDI beyond a certain percentage, FDI beyond a certain percentage needs government approval. Next, automatic route. No prior approval of the government is required. No prior approval, prior approval of the government is required. Okay. So essentially okay, let me give you a few more sectors before we discuss this defense thing. So leave one line space, right? FDI limit in, below that, point 1, news and current affairs media, dash 26%. Next, insurance and airlines dash 49%. Next, multi-brand retail dash 51%. Next, private sector banking 69%. 74%. 74%. Next. Telecom, last one. Telecom, wholesale trading, telecom, wholesale trading, and single brand retail dash 100%. So what these numbers mean is that's the maximum a foreign company can bring in by way of capital. So let's say, take for example, airlines. Okay, in airline industry, you take the example of what is this? Air Asia. You take Vistara. Now Vistara is a joint venture between Singapore Airlines and Tata Group. Okay. The joint ventures limited, it goes like this. When Singapore Airlines came to set up a joint venture airline company with Tata Group, the government of India allowed them, but the maximum they kind of, they were allowed to bring in by way of capital was 49%. So what's the maximum? 49%, which means the remaining capital was to be brought in by Indian investors, which is essentially the Tata Group in this case. So today Tata Group controls 51% of the capital of Vistara, while 49% is controlled by has been contributed by Singapore Airlines. If you look at an insurance company like ICICI Prudential, ICICI is an Indian financial services company, Prudential is a foreign company. The maximum that Prudential can invest in this business is 49%. So 49, the percentage indicate means this is the limit, the maximum limit that a foreign company can bring in by way of capital. Okay. Now if you look at news and current affairs media, it's 26%. You're familiar with this one company called Times Now. There is this news channel company called Times Now. See, Times Now is a joint venture between Times of India Group and Reuters. 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 What is it? Reuters. Reuters, is full name is Thomson Reuters, which is a financial data services company. Now this is a joint venture, and what's the maximum that Reuters can invest? 26%. That's how it works. Okay. Now the government of India has allowed, has raised FDI in defense manufacturing up from 49% to 74% under automatic route. Earlier up to 49% was automatic, but beyond 49% it required prior government approval. Now no prior government approval is required up to 74%. Okay, so which effectively means that a majority partner in a domestic defense manufacturing unit could be a foreign company. That's what it means. Okay, now why did the government do this? If you would want to write, I will give you a couple of points about this. You could write this: FDI in defense manufacturing, underline that first point. FDI raised to 74%. Raised to 74% in defense manufacturing in May 2020. In May 2020. May 2020. Next point. This is subject to access to modern technology, access to modern defense technology, or for other such purposes, for other similar purposes, for other similar reasons is a good word. Reasons, R-E-A-S-O-N-S, reasons. Next, this is a step towards making India self-reliant, S-E-L-F, self-reliant, R-E-L-I-A-N-T, reliant, self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant in defense in defense manufacturing. Next, the current size of the current size of the defense industry. The current size of the defense industry is 80,000 crore. 80,000 crore is 80,000 crore. Okay. Dash of this just about 17,000 crore. Just about 17,000 crore. Just about 17,000 crore is what to say, supplied by, or rather occupied by, private defense companies. The right word is not supplied, there is a word called cornered. So out of 80,000 crore rupees, just 17,000 crore rupees comes from defense, private sector defense manufacturing. So HAL, Bharat Dynamics, DRDO, all these together, they contribute 63,000 crore rupees. They hold this. Now the idea is, when such companies come in, the idea is to first get access to ultra modern technology. Okay. Only when there is a TOT, transfer of technology, that is from parent company to this company, it comes here to the Indian subsidiary, only then the government of India would allow such enterprises. Of course, then you could also write one more point: support for entire product life cycle. Entire product life cycle. Entire product life cycle. So a product, let's say this particular gun, it's manufactured in India by this defense company, foreign defense company. So the entire, for its entire life or for the maximum duration, this, the spare parts, the ability to service this should be there in India. That kind of after sales service should be provided. That's what they say. For the entire product life, there should be support. Okay. Of course, you could write last point. Target is for an export turnover of rupees 1.75 lakh crore, rupees 1.75 lakh crore by 2025. By 2025. See, this may seem to be very large, the target, huge. We are 5 years hence, we should be able to export stuff worth 1.75 lakh crore. It's not tough, because most of the item would be big ticket, that is huge money involved, so it's entirely possible, but we need to push ourselves, and global economic recovery has to be underway in a big way. So a lot of things have to fall in place, but it's good to be ambitious. It's good to be like, it's like, in the morning you make a target. Okay, today I'm going to complete chapter 1, 2, 3. So if you start with that positive zeal, okay, I'm going to do this, and you start working, you really start working, you start putting effort, you may end up, there could be some disruption, like, you have to go out, you have to cater to a family need, you have to do something else for a friend. All this is fine, but still, we start with a positive mind, we'll end up somewhere pretty close to what we had set out. So it's a good thing to have a target, perhaps. Okay? Okay. Amir of Kuwait, who died recently, was the former governor or chairman of a period of chairman of Dash for a period of just 21 days. RBI. You could write this. I just give you a couple of points about this RBI governors. Write this. RBI governors subheading. RBI governors, right? First point, shortest tenure, shortest tenure, shortest tenure. You could write this guy's name, Amitav Ghosh, Amitav Ghosh, Amitav Ghosh. From 15th January 1985, 15th January 1985 to 4th February 15th January 1985 to 4th February 1985. So you see, this is just for 20 days. Amitav Ghosh was the RBI governor. This is the shortest tenure. You could write longest, second point, longest tenure. I'm not able to use this pen because the right click is not working, but doesn't matter. I'll just write wherever possible. Okay. Longest tenure dash Benigal Rama Rao. Okay, Benigal Rama Rao. 1949, I think. Yeah, he was there till 57. He was appointed as second term also, but he left on January 15th 1947, 57 he left because he had differences with the then finance minister. So Benigal Rama Rao, almost you could say 7 years, 8 years, he had a very good tenure. 8 years is a long time in the RBI, my friends. Especially for a country in a system where the country had just become independent and was trying to find its ways. So Benigal Rama Rao, longest tenure, about 8 years between 1949 and 57. Okay. What about these choices? Try. TRDI. You could write this. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India dash chairman, the new guy, pretty new guy. New guy's name is P.D. Waghela. P.D. Waghela. P.D. Waghela. Next, SEBI. SEBI is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Securities and Exchange Board of India. Securities and Exchange Board of India. Dash. Chairman is Ajay Tyagi. Ajay Tyagi. PFRDA. Pension Fund. PENSION. Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. PFRDA. Chairman Supratim Bandyopadhyay. Supratim. Bandyopadhyay. Supratim Bandyopadhyay. IRDA is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. This is run by Subhash Chandra Khuntia. Subhash Chandra Khuntia. Some people put an H here in Subhash after B, but don't worry about too much about it, okay? You can put it S-U-B-H. S-U-B-H. Subhash Chandra Khuntia. Okay guys, let's go from here. Hey, there is another Amit of Ghosh, who is also a writer, a great writer, one of my favorites, but that's different. So Nikkei is the stock exchange index of the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Tokyo Stock Exchange. Maybe in the next class I'll give you a comprehensive list of these indexes. Okay, but for now, I'll tell you how the names and all that in next class. Nikkei is the stock exchange index of Tokyo Stock Exchange. New York Stock Exchange, you could write Dow Jones, D-O-W-J-O-N-E-S. I don't know whether it's writing. Yeah, it is. Dow Jones. Dow Jones. Then London Stock Exchange is FTSE. Financial Times Stock Exchange. Financial Times Stock Exchange. Frankfurt Stock Exchange, DAX. Singapore is ST Index. In the next class, I'll tell you about a little about how shares are, what is a share, how they are bought and sold, and then we'll go on to discuss these indexes. Okay, maybe in the next 2-3 sessions we will discuss the stock market. I'll bring in stuff. For now, this is fine. So these are names of the indexes. Which of the following is a Nostro account? Please write this. Which of the following is a Nostro account? First point, please write this. Account of an Indian bank. Account of an Indian bank with a foreign bank. With a foreign bank. In the currency of the country, in the currency of the country in which funds are held. In which funds are held. So, account of an Indian bank with a foreign bank in the currency of the country in which funds are held. Let's say an Indian bank, SBI, holds an account with HSBC in America. Okay, so this currency, this account that SBI has with HSBC America has to be held in dollars, US dollars. So it's always held in the local currency where the account is held. That's it. That's an Nostro account. Next point, facilitates. What is the purpose behind this? Facilitates foreign exchange transactions. Foreign exchange transactions and international trade transactions. International trade transactions. So exports, imports for settlement and all that. Okay. See, you could write one more point. Nostro is the opposite of Vostro. V-O-S-T-R. Vostro. Vostro. Dash. This is an account maintained by a foreign bank with an Indian bank in India. So this is a rupee account. maintained by a foreign bank, okay, with an Indian bank in India. Nostro is a Latin word which means ours. Vostro means yours. Okay. What's the term that best describes the loans of small or very small amounts given to low income group people? Microcredit. Usually people at the bottom of the society, they don't get access to credit. Their credit means udhar, loans, money. They don't get access to credit, and this pushes them towards going to the village money lender, to the local money lender, to the local money trader. See, the idea here is that let's say I'm a poor person, I go there, I would not get loans at a small rate of interest. So the money lender would lend to me at a very, very high rate of interest, because he thinks there is a lot of risk associated with lending to me. Okay, I don't have an asset to keep as collateral security, which he could sell in case I don't repay. So there is always a danger like this, and the interest rates could go to up to 20, 36%, 48%, sometimes 60%. Okay, so this would put me in a debt trap. So I would be I would pay interest on interest and interest in case I don't pay in the right way in the beginning itself. So there are a lot of groups today which actually lend to small communities, people at the bottom of the pyramid. So these are people who borrow money and spend. Most of the money that is lent is spent to meet common needs. Sometimes to buy seeds. By a farmer would borrow to buy seeds, to buy fertilizers. A woman could buy, a housewife could buy it to buy a sewing machine. Okay, to generate an additional source of income. See, this is where things could be, can be taken care of. Buying assets with the help of this kind of money is good, because assets generate a continuous source of income. Like for example, buying a cow, it could give milk, it would eat milk could be sold, that would bring in additional money. So these things, is fine, but generally microcredit carries a high rate of interest. Okay. Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Zabar Al-Sabah is the new Amir of Kuwait. His half-brother died recently, whose name was Al-Zabar Al-Sabah. This guy Nawaf has become the new Amir of Kuwait. Is there a photo? No, there is no photo. So I was looking at a map actually. Photo is map. Kuwait, you want to write, I think you would know about this. We'll just look at the names of the kings here. Okay, Kuwait, Al-Sabah. Okay, Bahrain. You could write this. Hamad bin Isa. Hamad bin Isa bin Khalifa. That's his full name, but he just write Hamad for Bahrain, the king's name. Qatar. Tamim Al-Thani, that's the surname. This is the family name. Okay. UAE will write it's a federal monarchy wherein there are 7 kingdoms, 7 emirates which came together to form one country called United Arab Emirates. Okay. Now they have a president, they have a prime minister. Let's write the prime minister's name. The prime minister is Rashid Al-Maktoum. Some places you may not find this O here, but that's okay. Rashid Al-Maktoum. Then Oman is the neighboring country of UAE, and it is Haytham, the new monarch, Haytham bin Tariq. Haytham bin Tariq Al-Sayyad, but that's okay. Haytham bin Tariq. These are the leaders of these countries. He was a newly appointed Director General of the Border Security Force, Rakesh Asthana. He was for some time, the Special Director in the CBI also. I think he was a Joint Director or something. He fell out with the then CBI Director Alok Verma. They had a massive public slanging match. So both had to be shunted out. Rakesh Asthana, he is the current DG of the Border Security Force. VSK Kaumudi is the Secretary for Internal Security, Ministry of Home Affairs. VSK Kaumudi, Secretary, Internal Security, Ministry of Home Affairs. Satyapal Malik, my friends, is Governor for Meghalaya Governor. Rajesh Ranjan, this guy is CISF Director General, Central Industrial Security Force, and AP Maheshwari, Anand Prakash Maheshwari is the Director General of the CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force. Okay. Next. In which country has a new strain of the novel coronavirus called DG614G, which is 10 times more infectious, been detected? Malaysia. See, a lot of these things unfortunately are overhyped. Yeah, all mutations, all viruses, in fact everything that has DNA mutates, changes. Okay, it keeps changing. So it's nothing new. But how infectious it is and all that depends on the kind of immunity people have, the kind of physical health, mental health people have. In any case, Malaysia is where they found this. And unfortunately, the media also has hyped up this a lot, my friends. People are scared of coronavirus, and importantly, we need to know that when they say that 90,000 cases are there, India's COVID tally goes up to 60 lakh. You have to understand it's just not 60 lakh. When it's 60 lakh, you also have to look at the numbers that have recovered. Okay, the numbers that have recovered are 51 lakh, 9 lakh are active cases, which, see, this kind of gives a lot of confidence to people when you say look at the number, recovery number, but the media doesn't highlight that, which is unfortunate. Brazil's current president, Brazil is, shall we write we'll write the capital, everything, okay? Brasilia is the capital, and maybe we'll not write all the time because it takes a lot of time, my friends. Jair Bolsonaro is the president. He, like Donald Trump of America and Boris Johnson of UK, have had coronavirus. Okay, he's had coronavirus. So Mexico's capital is Mexico City, so you don't have to worry about this. Okay, we can do one more thing. Let's write the currency of Brazil, real. Okay, it's the 5th largest country in the world by area. Mexico is Mexico City, and the president is Andres Manuel Operator Perez, but you just write this. Already long, very long name. And the currency is peso. See, it's a Spanish. It was occupied by Spain for a long time, and that's the main language spoken in this country is Spanish. In fact, it's the biggest Spanish-speaking country in the world. Okay. Then Philippines is the Spanish country. It's in the Pacific Ocean. It was ruled by Spain between 1568 and 1898, and the capital is Manila. We'll just write The president's name Rodrigo Duterte, and currency चलो देखते हैं यार, peso. So capital is Manila, the president is Rodrigo Duterte, peso is the currency. USA, you know, so that's not there. US vice president, most people are not familiar with the name, is Michael Pence or Mike Pence. Coming to Malaysia, it has two capitals. One is Kuala Lumpur. The second one is Putrajaya, which is more or less a part of Kuala Lumpur. This is the original, what is the administrative capital. The president, so the prime minister is, Muhyiddin Yassin. Okay, and the currency is ringgit. 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 Initial repayment holiday given to borrower for repayment of loan is called subvention. It's called moratorium. It's called moratorium. Because of this coronavirus and everything, people have found it difficult to repay their loans and everything. So the government said, okay, we will not ask you to pay the EMIs, okay, you could postpone this. But what most people didn't get this is that there is interest charged on payments that are postponed. Okay, and banks have charged interest on interest, which is like pretty bad. So currently there is a case pending in the Supreme Court wherein the government has agreed, okay, we will waive off the interest on interest, but interest people have to pay, which is okay. So moratorium, okay, morat means death, that's how the word comes. Subvention, this is one word we can learn, and before that, equated monthly installments, that is a full form of EMI. You can write with the double L also, no issue. In the beginning itself, these are decided, so that's why it's called equated. Subvention, please write this. What is subvention? Grant of money. Grant of money mostly by government. Mostly by government. Mostly by government. Example, you write this. Example dash. Government may ask banks to lend at below market interest rates. Okay, below market interest rates dash. The loss on account of lower interest rates is made good by the government. So the government is made good by the government. Let's say the market interest rate is 11%. Okay, I go to the bank. I'm a poor farmer. I go to the bank. The banker says 11% interest. But the government says there is a scheme under which you can borrow at 6%. Okay, so the bank charges me 6%. The actual rate is 11%. The difference of 5% is paid by the government. This is what is called subvention. Okay, basically the bank gets 11%. But I pay how much? 6%, because the difference is paid by the government. So this is to make credit accessible, because 11% is a burden, 6% isn't that much of a burden, that kind of a burden. Hassan Diyar has resigned as the Prime Minister of Lebanon. He was there for a couple of months, but unfortunately he couldn't cobble up a coalition and he had to resign. Okay, but he still is the acting Prime Minister. He still is the acting Prime Minister. Jordan's King Abdullah, it's a monarchy. King Abdullah II. Egypt we discussed. You want to discuss everything about Jordan. Capital is Amman. Okay, then here, then Jordan's currency is, if I'm not wrong, dinar. Capital is Amman. The monarch's name is King Abdullah II, and the currency is dinar. Egypt we discussed. Lebanon, you could write Lebanon. The capital is Beirut. This is the Prime Minister, and the currency is pound. It's in a very bad shape. The country is in a bad shape. Lebanon is in a very, very bad shape, especially because of the kind of political system it has. It has something we call confessionalism, parliamentary democracy. I'll discuss this in the next. Without fail, I'll discuss the stock exchange indexes and Lebanon in the next class. Okay, Syria. Capital is Damascus, and I think we have a map in the next slide on this. Where are these countries? The president is Bashar al-Assad, and the currency is pound. Ethiopia is in Africa. It's considered the second oldest Christian country in the world, and Ethiopia's capital is Addis Ababa. The Prime Minister is a guy called Abiy Ahmed Ali. Abiy Ahmed Ali, Nobel laureate, peace laureate last year. Abiy Ahmed Ali, and the currency of Ethiopia is birr. This is the currency of Ethiopia, birr, B-I-R. Okay, I'll just show you where are these countries. This is Lebanon. This country, you see this? Lebanon, very small country. This is Jordan, Syria. I'll discuss this in great detail in the next session. Arrange the top 5 ranked brands in the Future Index 2020 in descending order. We discussed this session in the previous one of the previous sessions, so we'll not discuss this, but I'll just tell you a little about the CEOs of these companies. Apple, Tim Cook, Mukesh Ambani, Reliance Industries. Samsung is from South Korea, Lee Kun-hee. Nvidia is a chip maker. Jensen Huang. Jensen Huang is CEO. Okay. Quechua Multi is a Chinese semi-government owned company. It's a liquor maker. It's one of the world's biggest alcohol spirits maker. We'll not discuss it right now. Okay. Who is the new Director General of the International Union for Conservation of Nature? Bruno Oberli. What about these choices here? Why don't you write this? Inger Anderson, head of United Nations Environment Program. United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. United Nations Environment Program. Rafael Grossi, head of International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency. Kitakliman. This is International Maritime Organization. Maritime Organization. International Maritime Organization. And Roberto Azevedo is World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization. So these are the heads. You know what? This Azevedo has resigned, but they haven't been able to find a successor to him. So he's continuing. Which film won the first prize of an online short film contest to create a patriotic mood surrounding the 2020 Independence Day organized by the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, MI? So it won the first prize. It won the first prize. This was the second prize. And hey, there is something Ab India Banega Bharat. Ab India Banega Bharat. That's the full title. This was directed by Abhijit Paul. Abhijit Paul. Whenever I find the word, this particular name, I think it's, I always believe it's named after me. It's because my name is Bharat, but of course it's not, So, foolish we were, foolish we are. Abhijit Paul, Am I? This is a good title. So the second one, Ab India Banega Bharat. So who's the ministry, who heads the Ministry of Information Broadcasting? Prakash Javadekar. Prakash Javadekar. Okay. He also heads another ministry. He heads the Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. The Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises. And he also, there is one more ministry, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So 3 ministries Prakash Javadekar heads. Okay, one is the IB, the second one is Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises, third one is Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay. 3 ministries. Next, which has become the first African country to eliminate human African trypanosomiasis or sleeping. Som means sleep. Remember, som means sleep. Okay. Trypanosomiasis as a public health problem. Togo. This is Togo. It's a very small country. You see this? This is Togo. Okay. Weird diseases, man. There's so many diseases which have no cure. But people never bothered. But chikungunya doesn't have cure. Except that you can treat symptoms pretty much like coronavirus. But then, with the way the media has blown into this up. Okay. Choices, Togo. Capital is Lome. The president is a guy called Faura Nan Singbe. Faura Gnan Singbe. Oh, finally it is now coming. Yeah, let me write again. Finally it's working fine. It's nice. Capital is Lome. Faura Gnan Singbe, and the currency is franc. Togo. Mozambique, if you want to know where is Mozambique, this is Mozambique. See Mozambique here, Tanzania, Namibia, you have Chad, these 5 countries are mentioned. And a while ago we discussed Ethiopia, this is Ethiopia, this is, yeah, that's Egypt, okay, Egypt here. Mozambique, capital is Maputo. Capital is Maputo. The president is Philip Nyusi. And the currency is Metical. So now it's not working again. See, machines have the mind of their own, yeah. But anyway, I'll just read out. Namibia's capital is Windhoek. And the president is a guy called Hage Geingob. That's the president. Namibia, Hage Geingob. And the currency, there are 2 currencies they accept. One is the South African, one is the Namibian rand, Namibian dollar. The other is a South African rand. Tanzania, because I'll have to take this now, there is no space. Tanzania, the capital is Dodoma. President is John Magufuli. And the currency is shilling. Oh, Chad's here. Chad, the capital is Djamena. Okay, I'll write it here, easier. Sorry, Ndjamena. That's the capital. The president is a guy called Idris Deby. And the currency is franc. Okay. Next. Which of the following states have topped has topped the Niti Aayog's Export Preparedness Index? So Gujarat is number 1 in India. Top 3 ranks you could write Gujarat, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. Top 3 you could write this. Niti Aayog's Export Preparedness Index dash, rank 1 Gujarat, rank 2 Maharashtra, rank 3 Tamil Nadu. Okay, Gujarat's Chief Minister is Vijay Rupani. Just for information, Vijay Rupani. This is Edapadi Palaniswamy. This is Uddhav Thackeray, you all know this. Karnataka BS Yediyurappa. KCR, Kalvakuntla Chandrasekhar Rao, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. He is our CM here. Niti Aayog is, as you know, National Institution for Transforming India. The CEO is Amitabh Kant. CEO of Niti Aayog is Amitabh Kant. The Reserve Bank of India launched a new category of banks, DSIB, which what does it stand for? domestically systematically important banks. I'm going to discuss this also in the next session. This will require some notes, okay, because I don't want to rush through this thing. I want you to write as much as you can, because in the beginning we have already written a lot of stuff about, you know, things like, so 3 things you have to write, discuss in the next session. Stock exchange indexes, Lebanon and SIP, okay, DSIP. So you could write now 3 banks in India are called domestically systematically important banks, okay, systemically important banks. They are very, very large banks. Their assets exceed 2% of India's GDP, so they are pretty big. One is SBI, 2 is ICICI Bank, 3 is HDFC Bank, okay. So State Bank of India, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. 3 things. The 2020 Thomas Cup and Uber Cup, scheduled to be held at RS in Denmark in October this year, have been postponed. The 2 tournaments are associated with badminton. Thomas Cup with men's badminton, Uber Cup with women's badminton. Normally they are held in Indonesia or Denmark, because these are 2 super. Denmark is where they are normally held, but these are, you know, things haven't been going well, so they postponed this. Okay. Loans and advances that a bank provides come under which are the following categories? Assets, of course. See, when a bank lends, when we go to a bank, we put money in a bank. Okay, it's an asset to us. It's our money. It's an asset to us, but for the bank, it's a liability. Udhar. So the bank has to return that money to us, isn't it? So our deposit with the bank is the bank's liability, but the bank lends that money to us. It's a liability for us, for the bank it is an asset. So you have to look at it that way. Okay, what's an asset to us is a liability to the bank, and what's a liability to the bank is an asset to us. Okay, liabilities, deposits, you could write. These are deposits. Assets are loans and advances. Who of the following is the chairperson ex officio, by virtue of being in that office, is the chairperson of the newly constituted National Council for Transgender Persons. This is a very progressive step, my friends. Transgender, the 3rd sex. Okay. Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. Who is this? We know Prime Minister is Narendra Modi. Prime Minister is Narendra Modi. The Minister of Social Justice, we are talking of cabinet post only. So this is Thawarchand Gehlot. Thawarchand Gehlot is a Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. Okay. Minister of Health and Family Welfare. This is headed by Dr. Harshvardhan. Dr. Harshvardhan. He is a Minister of Health and Family Welfare. He also heads 2 other ministries. One is Earth Sciences, another ministry, Earth Sciences. The 3rd one is, okay, 3rd one is, I think, what is that? It's Health and Family Welfare. One is, the second is, Science and Technology. He is a science guy. Science and Technology. Okay, Science and Technology. So 3 ministries. Dr. Harshvardhan holds 3 ministries: Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, and Health and Family Welfare. This one here, Minister of Women and Child Development, is Smriti Irani. Smriti Irani. So she is the Minister of Women and Child Development, and she also holds the Textiles Ministry. She also holds a Textiles Ministry. So 2 ministries she heads. One is Textiles Ministry, the other is the Women and Child Development Ministry. Okay, so I think we covered pretty good stuff here. Oh, that's about it, guys. Thanks for being here. I had a lot of fun, but I promise you we'll discuss the stock markets. We'll discuss Lebanon, and of course DSIB. Okay, thanks for being here. Have a lot of fun. Stay safe. Thank you so much.